Okay, so according to AP News and apparently Hal Steinbrenner himself, Aaron Boone will be returning as the manager of the New York Yankees for 2023 for the second year of his 3-year extension, which he signed last year. So 2022, 3, and 24. So that's the updated news right now. Haven't heard anything on Cashman, but apparently there was some kind of handshake agreement or spoken agreement a while back for Cashman to come back. These to me were inevitable. Only because, like I said before, Cashman does the dirty work for Hal, and Boone does the lip service for Cashman. But with that said, I think there needs to be an adoption of a little bit of a different mindset and philosophy. They need to make some structural changes. I would be reviewing analytics and utilizing it a little bit differently, and I would also be looking out to the coaching staff as well to see any type of changes that need to be made. But that said, if you don't have the right players here, it doesn't really matter what manager you have. Like Casey Stengel wouldn't have taken these Yankees to win the World Series now with Torrey and none of these other folks. Girardi, they weren't going to win the World Series. That was pretty obvious with the flaws that they had and the gap between them and the Houston Astros. It wasn't going to happen no matter who was the manager. So I think that's a reality that's important to just acknowledge. And we'll talk about this tonight. I'm going to go live tonight. We're going to do our blueprint to putting forward the Yankees offseason. I'm working on it right now. And we can gut at everything and put all the moves that we want to do in place and whatnot. And we'll have a live discussion. Got a couple folks coming on joining me, and it'll be fun. And I want to know what you folks think. How would you construct this Yankee offseason, especially now that you know Boone is going to be coming back as a manager? And if folks don't think he's a leader, we need to bring in some players who are leaders who can essentially lead to the point where they don't really need a manager. You know what I mean? And that's the key to bringing in the right players, more gamers, and guys that just are not afraid to defend their teammates, not afraid to speak up, and so on and so forth. Because we've been missing some of those guys as well. So it's not only it's the players thing too, the personnel, but that's Cashman's job, right? Putting together the right pieces and players. And it's not only, at least in my opinion, it's not only players as well. Like I said, we need some personalities and some leaders, some actual folks who would be willing to step up and do some things to push this team. Especially if players don't feel like Boone can do it. I don't know that, but I'm hearing a lot of speculation that he lost the dugout, lost the clubhouse, and blah, blah, blah. But the same thing can be said for the Mets and the Dodgers, too. So, and other teams as well. So, that one, I don't think any of us can confirm. But wanted to share this news with you. Aaron Boone's coming back as the manager. There'll obviously be more news coming, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. I'll give you updated everything on when it comes out, especially during free agency. You will get every move, particularly as it pertains to the Yankees, every single one of them. I'll leave you hanging on anything. So even if it's 20 times a day, that's what I do. Okay, keep me busy, keep you updated on everything. I want you to be in the know so you know exactly what's going on in Yankee land and baseball land, but more importantly, Yankee land, because that's where we reside. That's where our family is, right? So, give me your thoughts. I'm probably going to be a lot of unhappy people. But again, if you think about it, we're about a week away from free agency. Is there enough time to do a managerial search? No. Enough time to do a GM search? No. Especially when you have Judge. You essentially have, and I've said this, and I could be wrong, but I think Judge needs to be signed within that 5-day period, right after the World Series is over. Right? The exclusive period. Otherwise, he's going to get offers from other teams, and I think he's going to walk. Okay, I already think he's going to walk anyway, but that gives the Yankees an opportunity to put their best foot forward and put out a badass offer if they really want to keep him, and they got to put their money where their mouth is, and that's the bottom line too, right? So, and that's a Hal thing. That's not a Cashman or a Boone thing. Hal needs to open his checkbook in his wildly profitable company that he runs here, and he needs to show fans and show everybody else that he's serious. And that we need to see, on occasion that he prefers winning over lining his pockets, because I don't think anybody feels that way. Okay, yeah, they have spent and blah blah blah, but again, I understand it's not relative to the money they make and so on and so forth. And people want them to have an outrageous payroll, and I get that. It's also New York, so the payrolls are going to be naturally higher, and the 3 highest payrolls are in New York and California. So Mets, Dodgers, Yankees. Okay, but that said, if they're not, expecting Boone to be a little bit firmer or whatever, that type of leader with the team as manager, then they need to bring in some players who fit that mold to help lead this team. Because that's just, what else could it be? You know what I mean? Like, I said this. I mean, firing Boone and firing Cashman was pretty much not going to happen. We know this because they do exactly what the people at the top want them to do. And it's going to be very hard to replace those guys. Now, they're going to have to build a stronger fortress around these folks. So, and we're going to need to bring in some really, really good people to make this machine work better than it normally does. Right, and it's still a lot of flaws, most of which are in the roster itself. So that's a Cashman thing. Maybe an assistant GM, like you had Kim Ng, who's the manager of the Marlins now. I mean, the general manager of the Marlins. I don't know who Cashman's assistant is here. Maybe an assistant would be a good idea to have, something that he could rely on to, get some things done too. And I think that would be a good idea. I mean, there's some people that are probably credible, but we already know Jeter wasn't going to take his place. That was obvious. Okay. And, that's where we're at. Jeter would be nice to have in a front office position, though. I would love to have him in there as a consultant or as an advisor or whatever, or a special assistant to Hal Steinbrenner or something to put that winning environment, that winning feeling back into the front office, because it's got to start at the top. If you're not gonna have the right players on the roster, it's got to start up there. Start up there, and it's got to filter freaking down. Otherwise, get some players in here who light a damn fire, right? Who you can just look and say, you know what, this team is cohesive. This is a well-oiled machine. We don't need to hear from the GM. We don't need to hear from the owner or whatever. Not like we do anyway. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Give me your feedback, guys and gals. We'll talk about it more. We can go into some depth tonight on the live stream. I'm hoping to see you all on there as well. And we'll continue to talk about this stuff. But that's, again, AP News and Hal Steinbrenner. So it looks like Aaron Boone is coming back. It's starting to spread out all over Twitter, too. So keep an eye on that. Anything else, guys and gals? You're going to get it here. Over and out.